Breaking news! The date is December 12, 2015, and today the Paris Agreement has been signed by 196 parties to limit global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius by aiming to reach a climate-neutral world by mid-century. The countries in favor are going to try and reach a global peaking of greenhouse gas emissions as soon as possible. This agreement is landmark in the climate change process as it is the first time all nations have come together into a binding agreement to contest against climate change and its impacts. The Paris Agreement works on a 5-year cycle to work against climate change, and countries are required to submit their climate change action plans by 2020, called the Nationally Determined Contributions, or NDCs for short. In their NDCs, countries are required to communicate the actions they will take to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and their actions to a flexible plan towards adapting to the impacts of increased temperatures. This agreement also includes a plan with financial, technology, and capacity building support for countries who may need it. Furthermore, under the Enhanced Transparency Framework, starting in 2024, the countries will report on the actions they have taken against climate change, such as progress in climate change mitigations, adaptive measures, and support provided or received. This information will be assessed by the Global Stock, leading to recommendations for each country and acknowledgements of their progress towards long-term goals.
I'm still shocked by how that show ended, though. Honestly, didn't really expect it.
Hey Anna, did you watch that video I sent you?
Yeah, I did. It kind of blew my mind that all of that's happening right now, and I didn't even know about it.
Oh, are you guys talking about the viral news clip on the Paris Agreement?
Yeah, do you guys know anything about it? Like, do you know about this whole global warming thing? Because I didn't get much time to read about it today.
Oh yeah, we learned a bit about it this year. So global warming.
Global warming impacts several factors of our environment. The most affected factors are our biodiversity, oceans, weather, and us humans. In terms of biodiversity, the increase of temperatures and sudden climate changes have disturbed the ecosystems and have caused modifications to the conditions and cycles of plant reproduction. The limited sources available to animals are impacting their life habits and migratory cycles. Therefore, global warming is affecting biodiversity as its balance is being modified and threatened. According to the IPCC, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, an average rise of 1.5 degrees Celsius can put 20 to 30% of current species at risk of extinction. They have also stated if Earth's temperature increases by 2 degrees Celsius, the majority of our ecosystems will begin to struggle heavily. As for global warming's impact on oceans, sea levels have reached an all-time high increase with 18 centimeters in the past century due to the large amounts of permafrost and ice melting recently. The large amounts of CO2 captured by our oceans are another great concern regarding global warming's impact on oceans due to the high acidification levels arising questions about the adaptability of seashells and coral reefs. The scarcity of resources such as food and energy are arising new conflicts for humans in relation to global warming. With impacts to our global economy, global warming is having serious effects on the social and health balances in various countries. The rising sea levels and floods are also causing populations to migrate from certain areas with small islands on the front line of it. The IPCC also estimates 250 million people to be climate refugees by 2050. Lastly, the increase of droughts, heat waves, precipitation, and natural disasters have been caused by the weather phenomena due to global warming.
But what about the greenhouse effects?
Energy sources are a source of useful energy that can be extracted or recovered directly or via a conversion or transformation process. For example, solid fuels, liquid fuels, solar energy, coal, etc. There are many different current energy sources that we use, such as wood, coal, petroleum, hydro, gas, and nuclear. The world's current largest energy sources are coal, natural gas, and oil, which will be our main focus today. Coal-fired power generation has a 35% efficiency, natural gas has a 45% efficiency, and oil-fired power generation has a 38% efficiency. Coal is mainly used to produce electricity. The heat generated by coal combustion is used to transform water into high-pressure steam, which is used to power a turbine that generates electricity. Coal has many benefits, including the ability to be a vital resource for global energy markets, its low cost, abundant supply, and the ability to be manufactured from low carbon. It may also be transformed into a liquid or a gas. Coal has a number of disadvantages, including the fact that it is non-renewable, is the largest contributor to global warming, and has a high transportation expense. It also emits high levels of radiation and causes acid rain. Natural gas is a non-renewable hydrocarbon that is used for heating, cooking, and generating electricity. It's also used as a vehicle fuel. Natural gas has many benefits, including being the preferred electrical power source, being better for the atmosphere than fossil fuels, abundant availability, producing less soot, and being easily transportable. Natural gas also has a number of drawbacks, including being highly flammable, non-renewable, emitting greenhouse gases, requiring expensive pipelines, and being difficult to use. Transportation fuels like gasoline, diesel, and jet fuel are made from oil. It's also used for heating and as a feedstock for petrochemicals. The transportation industry uses oil the most as a source of energy. It is easily accessible, it has a high energy density, and it is a continuous supply of energy. Some of the disadvantages of oil include the fact that anticipated advancements in non-liquid transportation technology are insufficient to meet global transportation demand. It is one of the major contributors of greenhouse gases. There are many oil spills, and it is non-renewable. Moreover, oil drilling is the problem with today's energy supplies is their energy efficiency. Also, all three energy sources contribute in global warming some way. Coal is mostly carbon, which, when burned, reacts with oxygen in the air to produce carbon dioxide. Although natural gas does produce less pollution, but their oil creates more air pollution. Okay, so the greenhouse effect causes the majority of global warming, but what are its impacts?
Energy development is a field of activities focused on obtaining sources of energy from natural sources. Activities can include production of conventional, alternative, and renewable sources of energy, and for the recovery and reuse of energy that would otherwise be wasted. A lot of mechanical engineers rush to develop energy conversions from renewable sources like wind, wave, solar, and thermal energy sources. When it comes to renewable energy, waves have other resources beat in two respects. Waves offer a consistent energy source regardless of the time of day, and waves also provide much greater energy density than wind due to the water's heavier mass. However, this is still a developing source because wave energy harvesting is still in its infancy. Unlike solar and wind, there's no consensus in the field wave of how to efficiently capture and convert wave energy. Compared to other high-quality rechargeable batteries, lithium-ion batteries have a number of advantages. They have one of the highest energy densities of any battery technology today, and they can deliver up to 3.6 volts, which is 3 times higher than any other battery typically used. Lithium-ion batteries are also comparatively low maintenance and do not require scheduled cycling to maintain battery life. Because of this, lithium-ion batteries have placed as a market leader in portable electronic devices like smartphones and laptops.
Okay, so the main cause of global warming is carbon dioxide, right? Can't we just produce so much of it? Like, if it's that big of a deal?
Well, it's not that simple. The biggest contributor of carbon dioxide emissions are the current energy sources we use.
Developing energy sources. Do you ever wonder who is responsible for all the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere? Well, from 1988 to 2015, 100 companies were responsible for 71% of all global greenhouse gas emissions. Here are the top 10 companies that have emitted the most greenhouse gases from 1988 to 2015. Number 1 is China Coal. They emitted 14.3% of all greenhouse gases from 1988 to 2015. Here are the other 9. But what are the impacts of this on the environment? Well, The increase in the average temperature on Earth is changing the living conditions on the planet. This means the thawing of glacial masses, which results in severe weather, flooding of islands and coastal cities, the migration of species, impact on agriculture and livestock, which leads to food shortages, the spread of diseases, pandemics, and more. Energy efficiency. Coal is not very efficient. Even the most efficient coal-fired power plants only operate at around 44% efficiency. When it is burnt, 56% of the energy content of coal is lost. Pros and cons of burning coal. Pros: inexpensive, abundant supply, continuous power, substantial existing infrastructure, can be converted into liquid or gas, and relatively low capital investment compared to gas or nuclear. Cons: it is non-renewable. It is the largest contributor of global warming. Severe environmental, social, health, and safety impacts of coal mining. Coal ash is a hazard and disposal problem. High levels of radiation, emits heavy metals that pose major health risks, and is linked to increased rates of asthma, lung cancer, and more.
Wow, I didn't think about the big picture like that. If global warming and climate change are hurting the Earth this much, aren't there developments being made to cleaner energy sources?
There are, but the few that exist aren't enough to replace the current sources and their huge capacities.
As awesome as these are, it sucks that money isn't being invested into these alternative sources as much as it should be. Hopefully, people will learn more about this issue of global warming and its relation to today's energy sources through the Paris Agreement, and we can be living in a sustainable environment sooner.
Yeah, I agree. At least the news clip is getting popular, so more people will be intrigued to learn more about these causes to this issue.